Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Isai. This Shalom Aleichem, it's Friday, Parshas Naso, and Yud Aleph Sivan, June 1st, 2012. Yud Aleph Sivan, last Sunday Monday was Yontiv of Shuas. We're on Kol Haloshon and Torah Anytime at the same time. Recording on Kol Haloshon, we have 2,175 Shurim, and Kol and Torah Anytime, maybe, 200 videos. So let's now talk a little bit about the Parshas Naso. Naso, as the people in Kol Haloshon heard, because every day we have a shir on Kol Haloshon, one number all of the United States. So let's talk about Parshas Naso for the video viewers. Naso is the longest parsha in the Torah. It has more pesukim than any other parsha in the Torah. So you say, well, some Sedra has to be the maximum. You're right, and it happens to be Naso. And Naso has 176 pesukim. So you say, no, so? Well, it's not such no, so. You see, 176 could be made up of a lot of different numbers. 1 times 176, or 176 times 1, or many other numbers. It happens to be 8 times 22. 8 is La'asad Lavo, future, L'malam min Uzman, L'malam min Aseichel. 8 is infinity. The infinity sign is an 8, turned sideways. 8 is always L'malam min Uzman, L'malam min, and 22 is Kol HaTorah Kula, because it only could be read, it could be written by 22 letters. Which means the Torah should be Ksab is really beyond our ability. It's infinite, the word of Hashem. The Torah of Hashem, written with 22 letters, is 8, infinite. So you say, very good, so, okay, and you're not convinced, right? Very good. The largest Masech is Baba Basra, 176 block. Torah Shabbal Peh is also really at the maximum level. It's beyond our ability to grasp. 8 times 22. It could be 4 times 44, the same number, or 16 times 11, or a whole bunch of other products of 2 multipliers. But it happened to be 8 times 22, says Evan Ezra. 8 is beyond our hasoga, and 22 is called a Torah Kula with 22 letters. Torah Shabbal Peh really is beyond the hasoga of the average person to grasp it totally. Why is there 1,000 svarim written on one Masechta? Now we go further. The largest piece of Tanakh is in Tehillim, Kuf Yud Tes. The first 8 Pesukim start with an Aleph, the second start with the 8, start with a Beis, the third 8 start with a Gimel, 8 times 22, so now you got something. Torah Shabiksav and Torah Shabbal Peh and Nach, it's all 8 times 22, beyond our ability to be masig 100%. Torah is really a machshavas of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every word in the Torah, every letter, every trup, every vowel has multiple letters. Meanings, like we're going to show you with Birchas Kohanim. So let us now, that takes care of Naso. So you'll tell me, well, it doesn't have the most words. I know that, but it has most Pesukim. And you're going to tell me, Baba Basra, it really starts with Daf Beis, so it's really not 176, it's 175. We know all the answers already, all the Lamdish Dreidlach. The last blot happened to be 176. And Kuf Yud Tes and Tillim happened to have 176 Pesukim. And Naso happened to have 176 Pesukim. It's a very important thing, says Evan Ezra. Look at him at the end of Kuf Yud Tes and Tillim. Tamanya Appa, it's called 8 times Aleph Beis. 8 Pesukim with Aleph, 8 with Beis, 8 with Gimel, that's 119 in Tillim. So that takes care of that introduction to Parshas Naso. Naso has a few interesting things in there about a Sota. The 3 Pesukim of Birchas Kohanim, Yorechecha, Yor, and Yisah. And then over and over and over and over and over and over and over, 12 times the same 6 Pesukim. The Parshas of Chanukas HaMizbeach. Every Shever brought the exact same korban. 6 Pesukim, 12 times, 72 Pesukim. When the Torah is so short, why would it repeat 12 times the same exact 6 Pesukim? We'll get that there in a minute. Let's go in order now. We did the 176. And the Sota is the second subject. We talks about counting at the beginning of the Seder, counting the Leviim, we counted Kahas in the last Sedra, and now we count Gershon and Merari. Why do we count Kahas in the last Sedra? Because Kahas is special. Gershon is older, but Kahas carried the Kalim on their shoulders. Gershon and Merari carried the things. They loaded up the trucks, that means flatbed wagons, with animals pulling them, steer, bull, through the sand. And Gershon carried the material, and Merari carried the metal poles and the beams. But Kahas carried the Kalim of the Beis HaMikdash, 5 of them. The Aron, the Shulchan and Menorah, and the 2 Mizbechos they carried on staves on their shoulder. And when they picked up the Shulchan and the Menorah and the Aron and the 2 Mizbechos, as soon as they picked it up, they picked them up. They were elevated off the ground. Because you see, it's impossible to carry the Mizbeach Chanechoshes, which was 10 amos tall, 20 feet. And the poles were in the middle at 10 feet. Well, my friend, a human being is only 6 feet, and the shoulder is 5 feet. So how can a 5 feet shoulder carry a Mizbeach, the poles at 10 feet? Because it was 10 amos tall, that's 20 feet. So halfway is 10 feet, and the person is only 5 feet here. So how can you how do you carry a pole that are 10 feet when your shoulder is 5 feet? So it says those Levium were giants who carried it. They were giants. They were 10 feet tall, 11 feet tall, because this has to be 10, and the head is one a couple of foot higher. You had to be 11 amos, 22 feet. Wow. So it's all old information. So they carried all the Kalim, and the Kahas, you can remember, Kuf, like Kalim, Chaf. The Kahas carried the Kalim. The material, the Gashmios, was carried by Gershon. The curtains, all the different little fabrics. And Merari, Matches, the metal covered beams, were carried by Merari. So we took out the Kahas at the end of last week's Seder, because Kahas is special. They carried it on their shoulders. The rest just took down the Mishkan, put up the Mishkan, loaded it on the trucks, and when they were traveling along for days and weeks, they didn't carry anything, the Levium. The other 2, Gershon and Merari, they just loaded it up on the trucks, on the flatbed wagons. And but Kahas carried it every second for 40 years. Well, whenever they were traveling. So Kahas gets special mention. They were counted by themselves, and this week's Seder starts with Gershon and Merari, because Kahas is special. Just like Levi is counted, not with Klal Yisrael, they're special. So we took care of that. Now we got to the Sota. Now you know the word Sota is never found in the Parsha of Sota. And Shemitah is never found in the Parsha of Shemitah. And Meraglim is never found that word in the Parsha of Meraglim. You ever wonder why? Sota, I don't think there was ever a Sota, actual carried out case. I don't know of it. If anyone knows, please call me. You know my number? My cell phone, 845-826-4789. The Sotas, if you go through the Parsha, you see it's almost impossible to happen. Would you put your hand in a fan? Your bare hand? Would you put your foot in front of a lawnmower? I mean, why would a woman do something? She's lying to Beis Din. If she is guilty, she will explode. Her stomach will split open, her hips will separate from the thorax, her eyes will pop out. I mean, what sane person would do this? If you did the Aveira of the Sota, she has to admit it. She gets ejected with a get and 0 kasuva. She doesn't get paid nothing. Penniless, thrown out. But she can get married, does tshuva, marry somebody else. She can never marry a Kohen, she's a Zona. She can never marry the original husband again, and she cannot marry the Boel, the adulterer, but she can marry anybody else. Why would a woman do that? I mean, why would a woman? She has to be a woman who believes in God, otherwise she's not a Sota. She's a woman, she got a little bit carried away with wine, she got drunk, and she got not forced, she was willingly went with this fellow, and if she admits it, and she's guilty, she does tshuva, okay, but then she doesn't have to go through the Sota process. But if she's lying, goes through the Sota process, she'll explode. And what sane person would do that? I don't think it ever was carried out. If you know it, please call me. And it tells that right after Sota comes Nazir, where you can't drink wine. So the Gemara Rashi says, why does Nazir follow Sota? Because if everyone who sees a woman, a married woman, who does this and knowingly what's going to happen, and she did it, obviously she was drunk with wine, so therefore when you see this, call a rose, ro is sota bekim kulo, anyone who sees a sota in her downfall, yazu asma min ayayin, should never drink wine. Which means she was makel with wine, she let herself get drunk. So this sota, this Nazir has to be machmir and not drink wine at all, even though Hashem permitted wine. He has to forbid it on himself. Now if he says, I want to be a sota forever, that means 30 days. I want to be a sota, stam, that means 30 days. I want to be a sota for 5 years, that's 5 years. You have to mention the exact date. I want to be a Nazir for 5 years, it's 5 years. That's why he put the two things together. She was makel with the wine, she got herself inebriated and got talked into some stupid thing. Sota, shota, she's a fool for that 1 minute. The word sota is never used in the Parshas Sota. You know why? Because I don't think it ever happened. There was one case in the Gemara where two sisters, one was older, one was younger, one was guilty sota, and they wanted to take her to Bezdin, so she said, you know what, I'm the older sister, I'll go there, and I'll say I'm guilty, and meanwhile it won't work, because I never did anything adulterous. And so she did that, she went, and the waters didn't work, so she was innocent. Of course, she's not the one. Her sister's the guilty one. And they looked the same. And when they came home, one kissed the other, and the heir of the adulteress went on into, she kissed her, went into her mouth, and she died. Which one died? The younger one, the adulteress, died. The older one kissed her, and the process went through it. She drank the water with the dust. It didn't work. Obviously, she was not the sota, but the water and her breath went into the younger one. She smelt it, inhaled, and her belly exploded. But I don't know if there was ever a true case of regular sota. I don't know anything about that. You have to be an insane person to do that. Because you admit it so you don't die. And if you're not innocent, and the husband is paranoid, you'll be more beautiful, you have more children, and you can have birth without pain, and the children will be beautiful and handsome and tall and gorgeous and everything. Could be. But she may be guilty of stira, going alone with a man in a building, even if they didn't do a thing. That's called yichud. That's usur for a married woman to do that. That's usur min Torah, but it's not death sentence. Only if you do the ma'aseh, it's a death sentence. So she's still a stira. You can divorce her if you want, but he doesn't have to go through the sota process because she didn't do any physical thing. So sota is never used in the parsha of sota because I don't think sota ever happened. Shemitah is never used in the parsha of shemitah because shemitah is 354 gematria, and it's never held in a year that has three. It's only held in a year that has 354 days. Never in a leap year, which is 384. It's only in a year that's 354. Hashem wouldn't torture farmers with the extra 30 days, a leap year, a dad or a sheni. He wouldn't do that. 3 years ago he had a Shemitah, it was a leap year. I know, we have a fixed calendar, a fixed printed luach. That's not the way it should be. And when Mashiach comes, we're going to have Kiddush HaChodesh Al Pi Re'iyah. Their Eidim will see it, they will testify. Then it will never come out a Shemitah year, only in the year of 354. That's Gematria of Shemitah. If you leave out the year 354, and it will never be in the 384 year. And Meraglim, it was never in the Parsha Meraglim, in the Parsha of Meraglim, because they weren't spies. They were dressed like everybody else. They were undercover agents. Openly, they were not hiding nothing. In the Haftorah, Yeshua sent 2 Meraglim sneaking around at night under the bushes. That's Meraglim, but not in the Parsha of the Torah. Alright, so that takes care of that. Now we get to Birchas Kohanim. Birchas Kohanim is 3 Pesukim that could take 10-hour shiur right here. Let's just learn a few minutes of it. Vav Chav Beis in Naso. Yadav Shem Moshe Lemor Daber El Aaron Vel Bonav Lemor. 3 Kohanim in the world. Aaron and his 2 sons. Kol Suvarcho is Bnei Yisrael. This is how you best bless the Bnei Yisrael. Exactly like this. And for the word Ko, we cannot translate it. All Kriyas HaTorah, you used to be a Maturgamon. The Chazan stopped, the Baal Korah stopped after one sentence, and the Maturgamon translated. And you cannot translate this, it must be in Hebrew, not in Aramaic. So if you go in Targum Yonasan Ben Uziel, who's Targum Yonasan, who translates all Tanakh and Chumash too, he takes the word Yivarach Hashem Yishmerecha, brings it down in Hebrew, Yivarach Hashem Yishmerecha, in Lashon HaKodesh, not Aramis. After he's finished, Yivarecha Yoer and Yisro, then he brings the Perish in Aramis, but he brings it in Hebrew. That's the only place in the Torah where he brings Hebrew words, because Targum Yonasan does not translate. He's a Maturgamon. He doesn't translate in Hebrew. It's already in the Lashon HaKodesh. But there he doesn't, because it says coats of arsenals, Nezom, Amar Lahem. The Amar is written with a vav. Why? To expand the word. Say it slowly, loud, and clear. Now here's the three brachas. God shall bless you and watch you. Means give you gashmias, money, health, home, clothes, and watch no one takes it from you. That's the first one. The second one, that's 3 words. Now we get to 5 words. Hashem should shine His face upon you and give you chaim, charm, that you should understand Torah. That is ruchnias. The first was gashmias. This is ruchnias. If you got gashmias or ruchnias, what else could you have? Third bracha. That was 5 words. Now 7. 3, 5, 7. 3, 5, and 7 is 15. 15 words. You bless the Yisrael with 15 words. There's 15 shir hamalas that we bless Hashem from Kuf Chav 120 in Tillim to Kuf Lamed Dalet 134. That's 15 Tillim. They all start out shir hamalas. One is shir lamalas. Okay, but they all start out shir hamalas. 15, and there's a lot of things about 15. And the second one is Yoer. Hashem should give you ruchni. He should shine His face upon you. Light. You should have insight into Torah, deep insight. No, if you have gashmas or ruchni, is what is left. The last bracha of 7 words. 3, 5, 7. 15, right? Yisu Hashem panav elecha. God should pick up His face to you. That's more than letting His shine. He should actually make a motion towards you. Yisu Hashem panav elecha. Yesem lecha shalom. Give you peace. If you have gashmias and you have ruchnias, what else could you have? Well, you could be a very wealthy man and nobody likes you. You may not even like yourself. You could have ruchnias, but no one comes to your shir and no one comes to your yeshiva. You just don't. People don't care for you. Then you get shalom, peace. You love yourself. You're not depressed. You love people. People love you, and Hashem loves you. Hashem's name is Shalom. So shalom means that you have absolute peace and serenity, no stress. That's a very big bracha. Now let's go a little deeper into this. Yavarech Hashem Yishmecha. The first letter starts with a yud, and the second letter starts with a yud. A yud kevav ke. Yavarech Hashem bit Yishmecha vav. Yud vav is 26. Hashem yud kevav ke. Yavarech is Abraham. Hashem is Yitzchak, and Yishmecha is Yaakov. There are 3 words, 15 letters. Avram and Yitzchak and Yaakov lived together 15 years. Avram was he died at 175, 160 to 175. 15 years they saw each other. His father, son, and grandson. Orecha is Avram, because Hashem said 3 times, I'll bless you, 3 expressions. Hashem is Yitzchak, because when he was about to be shechted by the Akedah, he asked Hashem to take his neshama away so he wouldn't feel anything. And then when the mouse had stopped Abraham, then the neshama came back. He had Turchias Amason. He saw Hashem. Besides, Yitzchak is 4 letters. Yud Kei Vav Kei is 4 letters. Yivarecha is 5 letters. Avram is 5 letters. The Yishmerecha is not V, but Yishmerecha is 5 letters. Yaakov with a Vav in there. 5. Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. He came out that the gematria of Yivarech Hashem Yishmerecha is the same as Avram, Yitzchak, or Yaakov. Figure it out. There's so much to talk to you about this. So the first one, we took care of that. Then Yoer Hashem Panav Elecha V'Yichaneko. That they say the whole first bracha goes on Avram. The second one is Yitzchak. Hashem should shine on you and give you Chaim. Avram traveled the world. Yaakov traveled the world. Yitzchak stayed home. There's Hashem. He could learn Torah without being harassed too much. That's Yitzchak. And then Yisrael, the last sentence that has 7 words and 25 letters. This is Yaakov. By Yisrael, Yaakov's Ragav. Yaakov picked up his leg and had to run away from his brother. Then he had to run away 20 years later from his father-in-law, the grandfather of the Jewish people, the rotten Russia, who's worse than Pharaoh, says Agadim. That's Laban. He had to run away from Laban, who the grandfather came and chased Laban, wanted to kill his 4 daughters and 11 children, his children and his grandchildren. That's the Zaidi of the Jewish people. The rotten Saba, the rotten Zaidi, the rotten grandfather, worse than Pharaoh. Pharaoh couldn't be that bad. You know why? Because Laban that came directly from Abraham. Well, if you are a descendant of Abraham, you could be the greatest man in the world or the worst. If you have that drop of Kedusha, you could destroy the world or make the world. Yeshu was from Rome. The worst people and the best come from Rome. And the nerve of certain Jewish people. Well, there was one man, the Reconstructionist rabbi, wrote his Sefer Torah in Yerushalayim without God's name. Only a Jew could be that evil. The best people, the biggest social reformer was Avraham Avinu. He changed the world from paganism to monotheism. And the worst people could be Israel. Because you stand at Sinai, Hashem gave you such chizuk, such self-confidence, no nation has that self-confidence that we have, to be the best of the worst. It's like dynamite. It can kill people, but it can blow a hole through a mountain, so you wouldn't have to go around for 3 hours around the mountain. You go 5 minutes through the mountain. Dynamite is a very good thing, or very bad. A gun is very good. You could save your family, or you could use it to kill people. A gun is a wonderful thing. A long knife for cutting challah is great, or you could check the person with it. The knife is not the problem. The gun is not the problem. The dynamite is not the problem. The computer is not the problem. It's the people who don't have control. Yes, it's very accessible, very dangerous. Young people, we know all that. Yes, you got to put a filter on, no question. But the real problem is not the item, the gun, the knife, the television, the computer. It's what you see on it. What do you think Hashem made video for? Because one day Mashiach will be seen all over the world. That's why Hashem gave Umas Olam the Chachma to do these fabulous things, because it says in Chazal, everything you say will be recorded. You see it. Everything will be videoed. Everything. It's not just an empty Chazal. It's true. You see it. You can see a picture. You can hear a voice of a man who's dead 30 years ago, 50 years ago. You can hear his voice. You can hear his voice. And he's not here. You can see a picture. He's not here. You can see me, and I'm not where you are. Technology is a bracha min hashamayim. Depends how you use it. That's up to you. Kosher wine is a wonderful thing, but if you drink 3 bottles, you get shikr. You're a menuvel. You're a menuvel b'toch. And halach, inside the halach, you made yourself a menuvel. It's not the wine. It's how you misused it. All right. So you get barechecha yor yison. You're saying l'chol shalom. Now let me tell you a few things. Barechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha. Rosh Hashanah is 26. Because Hashem watches Avraham. Yevarecha is Avraham. Yud Kevov is Yitzchak. And v'yishmerecha is Yaakov. The soft tables of Yevarecha is Chav. Hashem Hey is the last letter. Yishmerecha, another Chav. 20 and 20 is 45. The first letter is spelled Yud K Vav K 26. The last letter is also Hashem's name, 45. If you spell out Yud Vav Dalid, and Hey Aleph, and Vav Aleph Vav, and Hey, add it all up, you get to 45. So Yud K Vav K is Gematria 26, but spelled out B'milui is 45. Together, 72. That's another name for Hashem. 71. 72. You can always add 1 in Gematria, plus or minus 1. I explained to you once how that works. You could always be plus or minus 1. The first 3 has 15 letters. That's Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov lived together for 15 years. From age of Avram, 160 to 175. When Yaakov was born, they were all 3 Doras were together 15 years. The second 5 words have 20 letters, because Yitzchak is after the 20th generation. Adam to Noach, 10. Noach to Avram, 20. Yitzchak was after 20 generations. And the next one is 25. The third one, the 7 words, is 25 letters. Why? Ko is 25. Ko Somar of Beis Yaakov. The women are called Beis Yaakov. That's Yaakov. The third bracha has to have to do with Yaakov. Ko Somar, 25. Say to the Beis Yaakov and to the women. Shalom is Gematria Esav. A person is mechuyev to say hello to even a guy in the street, to anybody. Havimaktim Shalom l'chol adam. Woman, man, guy, Jew, anybody. Be nice. Good morning. How do you do, sir? Shalom is Esav. Maktim Shalom l'chol adam. Shalom. Don't be arrogant. You didn't choose to be a Yid. It was accidental through your mother, so don't blame another person who's not a Yid. Is an elephant greater than an ant? No, elephant didn't choose to be an elephant, or an ant. That's the way Hashem made it. Aren't you lucky you're from the Am Hashem? So you have the greatest compassion for every human being. And now we get to, we don't have time to go through the whole thing. The last part of the Seder, Chamishi and Shishi and Shvi, that's the 72 Pesukim of the Chanukas HaMizbeach. 12 Shvatim bring exactly the same thing. 6 Pesukim, 6 times 12 is 72. 72 Pesukim. Reread those 12 Pesukim. You know when we read them? It's a minute to read them from the Rosh Chodesh Nisan until the 12th day of Nisan, every day one. Yom Rishon, Yom Sheni, Yom Shlishi, Rabbi, and you read till 12th. The 13th day is Erev Pesach, and the 14th is Erev Pesach until midday. Then it's Pesach. Pesach starts at midday when you roast the korban Pesach, and if it's finished by Shkia, then you can eat it till midnight, and Pesach is over at midnight. That's why in Yalav Yavo, during the 7 days of Pesach, you never say Chag Pesach Hazeh. You say Chag Matzos Hazeh. So you read the parashas for 12 days, leading up to Chanuk, to Korban Pesach, from the Rosh Chodesh Nisan, because that's when this thing happened. First day of Nisan, second day of Nisan, third day, fourth day, and then you for 13 days. Also, you read it on Chanukah when Chashmonaim rededicated the Mishkan. Read it the first day. Read the first day, the second day, the 8th day. We read number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And on Sukkot we read from a different place. On the first day, Yom Rishon, Yom Sheni, that's a different thing. That's from Pinchas. Read on the 8th day, 8 days of the Sukkot, 8 days Shmini Atzeres. That's a different thing. Now, it's an interesting thing on the here, the 11th day. Why don't you say Achad Osayom? Why do you say Ashtei? Why don't you say Achad Osayom? Here, I'll show you something. It's a phenomenal thing. Shmiyom Shmini, B'Yom Ashtei Osa 11. And the next day is Yom Shteim Esrei, the 12th, right? Yom Shneim Osar, 12. So why don't you say Achad Osar? Why do you say Yom Ashtei? I'm going to tell you a Marita Gazach. Take the ayin away, you got Shteim Osar, 12. You add an ayin, you go down to 11. This proves a concept called Hamosif Goreya. You add to it, you ruin it. Don't fix it, it ain't broke. You add to the 12, you put an ayin, so instead of 12, it becomes 11. Instead of Achad Yom, you say Ashtei, because Shtei also is 12. And you add something to the 12, you get less, you get 11. Called Hamosif Goreya. Teaches a tremendous thing. You can't have 2 days place Shabbos. You can't have 5 sitzes here in the hole and turn it over, make 10. If you add to the Torah, you ruin it. The Torah is perfect the way it's made. Don't be machmir on it, don't be makel. You want to be machmir on the halacha, you want to wear 100 pair of tzitzis, that's mutter. But don't change 4 corners to 5 corners, or 4 strings to 5 strings, or have in your hand a lulav with more than 4 as a lulav, esog, getasim, and arovas. You don't change the fundamental nature of something. You wear 10 yarmulkes, there's no avera. You can't do that. That's nothing. Just do it. Whatever you want. That's not changing anything. Or writing in the tefillin extra parashah. Or saying here, beside Yivarechecha Yor and Yisu, you add your own good wishes. Can't do that. Kol Hamosif Goreya. It's not your Torah. It came from Shemayim. You can't add to a perfect thing. You can't say there's 24 hours and 1 second in a day. It's 24 hours, period. A circle is 360 degrees. Not more or less. All figures, all closed figures in geometry are 360. Any shape figure you want is 360. A circle too, even though it has no sides. Except a triangle. That's 180. And you know that the exterior angles of a triangle is 360. 60, let's say you have a quadrilateral triangle, 60, 60, 60, 180. But the exterior angles is 120, 120, 120. You know what that is, exterior angle. You use 360, double. Even a triangle is 360 on the outside. Don't fix anything if it's not broken. The Torah is perfect. Don't add anything to the fundamental agenda. To be machmir means you, instead of waiting between meat and milk, like the Chazal say, a minute, You wait an hour, 3 hours, 6 hours. Gemara says 12 hours. Somebody wait 24 hours. That's all right. You're waiting, but don't make a new rule that you have to wait between milk and meat an hour or two. No, a minute is enough. Or hard cheese. I mean, pure cheese. That's maybe 6 hours. But don't create new dinim. There's no 2-day Shabbos, and you can't sit in the sukkah more than 8 days. Not 9th day. Simchas Torah, it's usher, baltosif. But if you sit in the sukkah on the 10th day, it's nothing. It's only if you add it right after, then it's something usher. You want to have long payas, it's quite all right, as long as you have payas that you can grab a hold of down to the middle of the year. That's it. That's all you have to do. So don't be Mosif on this Torah, and therefore, Shtei Mesreis 12, you add to it, Ashtei's 11, you go down. Interesting. Okay, now one more thing before we finish. Hibiyom Kalos Moshe, when Moshe finished setting up the Mishkan, he set it up and took it down for 7 days. On the 8th day, that was Rosh Chodesh Nisan, he set it up, and now not Aaron, the Levim have to take it down. For the next 40 years, Moshe did his job, he's finished. Kalos Moshe L'Hakos the Mishkan. And he anointed it. And they started with the first person to bring the korban. Who was that? Well, the way they were positioned in the midbar, up north, northeast route. You know, we call north, every map is north, up. Not the Jewish world. The Jewish map is east is front, and that was Yehuda, because he's the Melech, and Yisachar and Zvulun, because there were 3 in every camps in every direction. 3 times 4 is 12. On the right side was Reuven and 2 others, and Shimon, and down here was someone else. So first it started with Yehuda. Then Yisachar and Zvulun up there. Then it went to who do you think? Reuven. Because first went Yehuda. Then when it came to Yisachar, Reuven complained. He's a melech, I understand. But why Yisachar? So Moshe says, Hashem told me. Yehuda is the melech. The next most important in Klal Yisrael is the man who learns Torah. And the third one is not Reuven, is the one that supports Torah. Yisachar and Zvulun. Yisachar is the younger, but he's a big Talmid Chacham, and Zvulun supports him. And Zvulun gives him half his salary, and Yisachar gives to Zvulun half the learning. And the fourth one is Reuven. He's the Bahar on the right side. And one more thing, it says so. The first day was Hamakav Yom Rishon is Korbanot Nachshon Ben Aminon V'Lamata Yehuda the Korbanot Karas Kesef Achas. Every single one bought a silver bowl worth 30 shekels. 130. You know why 130? By the way, you want to know how much 130 is today? Well, every shekel kodesh is about an ounce. 130 ounces, about 10, 12 pounds. That represents Adam Rishon, who had the first child. Cain and Hevel were not children, they were Shadim. The third one was Shais. From all mankind came from Shais. Evan Shasiah, that's where the Kodesh Kedoshim is. Shasiah, the center forming stone. Shais is the formation of mankind. From Adam came Shais. All mankind came from Shais. Evan Shasiah, that's the center stone where the world was created from. That stone. The dome of the rock is over the Shais. Evan Shasiah, that's where the Kodesh Kedoshim was. So, 130 years until Cain killed Hevel. Then we had 130 years until he had Shais. Another explanation is Moshe's mother was 130 years old. So how is Shais a Moshe? Shais is the beginning of mankind. The first born human being. Adam was not born. The first born human being. The king of mankind. And Moshe, who's born from a mother at 130, is the king of Yisrael. The Nasi of Yisrael. Then they had a mizrach, a sprinkler, out of silver, at 70 shekels, about 5 pounds. 12 of these, 12 of everything. 70 means the Yidden came down to Mitzrayim, 70 people. And they, after 210 years, they came out 3.5 million people. If you do the multiplication to 3.5 million people, it's like 48,000 to 1. If you go from 70 to 600,000 males, it's about 4,800 put to 1. Because they had 6 children at every birth. So a man had one wife, and every year had 6 kids. In 2 years and 3 years, he has 18 kids. If he has 2 wives, he has 36 kids. And Pharaoh he was justified. We got to get rid of these people. They're taking over the country. They're everywhere. I understand that. Hashem made that. So they tortured the Eden in order they should remember their Eden. In Russia, when they started torturing the Eden right before, in 1989, when the Kremlin voted communism out officially, there was refuseniks, people that didn't listen to communism. They became very religious people. There were refuseniks in Russia. They became Bali Tshuva, because when you put the pressure on a Yid, he returns to the source. One of the refuseniks said, I don't want to be a new Yid. I want to be like an old-time Yid, like those who used to be the real Jews. All right, so 70 Eden came to Mitzrayim. Also, 70 people in the Sanhedrin. Adam died after 930 years and didn't live 70 more years to 1,000. And the 70 years was Adam gave it to David, and for David comes Mashiach. Every one of these things are very deeply loaded with information. And then comes the kaf out of gold, the spoon holding the incense. Kaf is like the equal to the Seres Dibros. Seres Dibros holds the incense also. The Seres Dibros, everything is in there. The whole Kol Torah Kula. The Seres Dibros, it's not 10 Commandments. That's not a Jewish word. You won't find that anywhere in Tanakh. Anywhere. We don't have it as Seres Sivuyim. There's no 10 Commandments. There are 10 Dibros, because 2 are positive and 7 is negative, and 1 is a statement. So it doesn't say Aseres HaTzivuyim. It says Aseres HaDibros, statements. Anyhow, the kaf holds the incense. That's Aseres HaDibros. That's the written law in stone, but they heard it. They heard God's voice. So it's the oral law and written law together at the same moment. Then Moshe expanded the Aseres HaDibros. After 40 years, he gave about 13 Sefer Torahs, which is also written law. That's the expansion of the Aseres HaDibros. And the Torah Shebiksav is also a super compact digest. The real Torah is in the Midrashim and the Gemara. The 5,000 pages, the 5,000 amudim of Torah Shabbat Peh, that's the Iker Torah and the Midrashim and the Yishamli. That's the real Torah. Torah Shebiksav is the foundation. It's like water and oil. Shake it together, oil goes to the top. That's the Torah Shabbat Peh. That's the way you learn it. That's the Masorah. That's the real way you apply it. But the oil sits on water. Take away the water, everything collapses. Torah Shebiksav is the water. Torah Shebiksav is the water. That's the foundation of everything. You take that away, everything collapses. But the real applicable Torah is the oil on top. Torah Shabbat Peh. Because we have many things in the Torah, Chumash, that the halach is 100% opposite what's written. Like it says on the 9th day of the month is Yom Kippur. It's not true, but it says so. Me'erev ad erev, Tisha b'chodesh be'erev, on the 9th day of the month of Erev, Me'erev ad erev, is you should torture yourself. It's not true, it's the 10th. They wrote it like that, to let you know that eating Erev Yom Kippur, which is the only day of the year you're mechuyev to eat, the only day of the year you're obligated as a mitzvah d'oraisa to eat. Shabbos and Yom Tov is a minute. Korban Pesach is not a meal, it's a piece of meat. The only time you're mechuyev to eat is Erev Pesach. And that's torture. Because you're eating l'shmo. You can't get any pleasure out of that. That's mamish v'yinisam is not shoseikum. Torture. So the first day torture is by eating, the second day torture is by fasting. So that's why it's on the 9th and the 10th, 2 days of torture. V'yinisam is not shoseikum. You have to learn Torah Shabbat Peh for this. Or the Osov as Beno, him, the father and the child, don't shechta on the same day. The halach is 100% opposite. It's only the mother, not the father. Why you say Osov as Beno? You should say Oso. And so no, because the pasuk before talks about shor or kesav or a's in the male form in the zochar, so we continue in the zochar. But the halach is opposite; it's only the female. Hundreds of things like this. First word of the Torah, Bereshis, Rashi says, does not mean in the beginning, because Rashi says the first Rashi. If you meant to say beginning, you would say Borishono. What's the difference? A tremendous difference. Bereshis, Esmichas, at the beginning of God's creation, forming of the world, he said Yeor, means there was rough stuff there, Tohu v'vohu, for millions of years, because the second pasuk says, Baruch Elokim, Rachev Zapnei Hamayim, the Spirit of Hashem is floating over the water. When did he make water? Where do you see in the Torah he made water? No, it was there. Everything was there, he just formed it. And the millions and millions of years took 6 days. And if you have no Torah, you believe in evolution, because that's normal. If you have no Masorah. Because it looks like billions and billions there was age of billions of years in 6 days, correct. Because how can there be Hi'or on the first on the first day, but then it was on the fourth day there was the sun. So what was that? That was a different kind of light. Ibn Ezra says that was time, not light. All right, Rabbi side, we're finished. Have a good Shabbos, and we hope you can go to Kol HaLashon. 718 number, I don't know, dial my code number 11101. You'll hear 2175 shurim. And Zayk have a good Shabbos.